Evan Carter lived a quiet life. He was a young man who loved science and stars. Every night he would look at the sky through the telescope at the small observatory near his town. His grandparents raised him after he lost his parents at a very young age. They were kind and gentle, and Evan felt safe with them. One night, while Evan was closing the observatory, strange lights appeared in the sky. They were not like stars or airplanes. They moved in strange patterns, flashing bright colors and making soft humming sounds. Evan felt excited but also nervous. He took out his camera and started taking pictures. Suddenly, the lights grew bigger and brighter, and a low rumble shook the ground. The next morning, Evan tried to tell his grandparents about what he saw. But they said it was probably just a storm or some unusual weather. Evan did not believe them. He knew something strange had happened. On his way home from the observatory, Evan walked down the quiet street, thinking about the lights. He felt like someone was watching him. Then from the shadows near the trees, a tall figure appeared. She was unlike anyone Evan had ever seen. She was tall and strong, dressed in shining armor that looked like black metal mixed with bright crystals. Her skin was a deep shade of violet, and her eyes glowed softly, like stars. She moved with grace but also with power. Evan froze. His heart beat fast. The woman held up a small photo. Evan stepped closer and saw the picture was of himself as a child, a younger version of him, smiling shyly. "This is you," the woman said in a calm but serious voice. "We've been looking for you for years." Evan blinked, confused. "I don't understand. Who are you? How do you know me?" The woman lowered the photo and looked at him with kind eyes. "I am Commander Zura of the Thalkari. We are a people from far beyond your world. We have searched many planets to find you." Evan took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. "Why me? I'm just a normal guy. I don't understand any of this." Zura nodded. "You are more than you know, Evan. You carry something very important inside you." Evan shook his head, still unsure what to believe. "You must have the wrong person." Before Zura could reply, a loud noise came from the sky. Evan looked up and saw a sleek ship hovering just above the trees. Its metal surface shone in the morning sun, covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow. "This is our ship," Zura said. "If you come with me, I can explain everything." Evan hesitated. Leaving his home, his grandparents, everything he knew was not easy. But deep inside, he felt a strange pull, like a question he needed to answer. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'll come with you." Zura smiled for the first time. "Good. You won't regret it." They walked together through the streets, heading toward a hidden place at the edge of town. Zura moved carefully, scanning the sky and ground for danger. Evan stayed close, his mind full of questions. When they reached a small field, Zura raised her hand and a glowing door appeared in the air, like a window into another world. Without hesitation, she stepped through. Evan followed. Inside, the ship was larger than Evan imagined. The walls were smooth and silver, lit by soft blue lights. Strange machines hummed quietly, and holograms floated in the air, showing stars and planets. Zura led Evan to a seat that felt warm and comfortable. "Rest here. I will tell you about your past and why you are important." Evan sat down, feeling both nervous and curious. "You were not born on Earth," Zura began. "You were born on a distant planet called Thalkara. Long ago, a terrible war broke out between different worlds. Your parents fought to protect peace." Evan looked at her, eyes wide. "But I grew up here. I don't remember any of that." "That is because your mother sent you away, to keep you safe. She hid you on Earth, where no one would find you. You were found and raised by kind people who loved you." Evan's heart ached. He had always wondered about his parents, but no one had ever told him. "There is more," Zura said softly. "You carry a special power inside your blood, a key to a powerful relic that can bring peace to many worlds, or destroy them if it falls into the wrong hands." Evan's mind raced. Could this be true? Could he really be the key to something so important? "Why me?" he asked again. "Because you are the first of your kind, a bridge between two worlds. Your father was human, like you. Your mother was Thalkari. This makes you unique. Evan looked down at his hands. He felt different now, a mix of hope, fear, and something new. Purpose. Zura stood and offered him her hand. Come, we must leave soon. The enemies who want the relic still search for you. Evan took her hand, feeling strength and courage growing inside him. As the ship lifted off, Evan looked back at the earth below. The home he loved, now small and quiet beneath the stars. He did not know what the future held, but one thing was clear. His life had changed forever. The ship hummed softly as it traveled through space. Outside the windows, stars streaked past like silver lines. Evan sat quietly beside Commander Zura, still trying to understand everything she had told him. Thalkara, he whispered. The name felt strange but also familiar, like a distant dream he could almost remember. Zura watched him carefully. There is much you need to learn, Evan. But first, you must know the truth about your past, and why your life is connected to the future of many worlds. Evan took a deep breath and nodded. He was ready to listen. Zura began her story. The Thalkari were once a proud and peaceful people, living among the stars. But long ago, war broke out. Many worlds fought against each other, trying to control a powerful relic, an ancient artifact called the Starborn Key. Evan's eyes widened. A relic? What does it do? Zura's voice was serious. It holds the power to control great forces, energy that can heal or destroy. The key was created to keep peace, but it was lost during the war. Without it, the galaxy fell into chaos. Evan thought about the battles he had seen in movies and books. But this was real. This was his world. Your mother, Zura said softly, was a Thalkari warrior and a guardian of the key. Your father was human, an explorer from Earth who met your mother during a secret mission. They fell in love, something rare between our two peoples. Evan looked down at his hands. So I am half Thalkari and half human? Yes, Zura replied. You are the first of your kind, and because of this, your blood contains a unique code, a key to unlock the Starborn relic. Evan's mind raced. But why was I sent away? Why did no one tell me? Zura's eyes softened. Your parents knew the dangers. The Veiled Dominion, a dark faction, wanted the key for themselves. They hunted your family. To protect you, your mother sent you to Earth, hoping you would grow safe and strong. Evan felt a mix of sadness and pride. And now I'm supposed to help? But I don't know anything about war or politics or ancient relics. Zura smiled gently. That is why I am here. I will train you and guide you. You have something. They don't? The strength of humanity and the wisdom of the Thalkari. Suddenly the ship shook. Red warning lights flashed. Zura stood quickly, her eyes sharp. We are being followed, she said. The Veiled Dominion has found us. Evan's heart pounded. What do they want? To stop you, Zura said. If they capture you, the galaxy will fall into darkness. The ship's speed increased as it entered a field of asteroids. Evan watched with wide eyes as Zura skillfully piloted the ship, dodging the floating rocks. Outside, smaller enemy ships appeared, firing bright beams of energy. Zura grabbed a control and activated the ship's defense systems. Stay close, she ordered. Evan felt a rush of fear but also determination. He wanted to help, but he wasn't a fighter. One of the enemy ships aimed a blast at their ship's engine. Zura's quick reflexes saved them, but the ship rocked violently. We need to lose them, she said. Evan looked around the control panel, spotting a small scanner showing the enemy's ship positions. Wait, he shouted. I have an idea. Zura raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. Evan remembered his science lessons about gravity and momentum. If we fly close to that big asteroid over there, maybe we can use its gravity to pull them off our trail. Zura smiled. Interesting. Let's try it. Evan held on tight as the ship turned sharply toward the asteroid. The enemy ships followed, but the massive rock's gravity pulled at them unevenly. One by one, they lost control and crashed into smaller asteroids. The warning lights stopped flashing. "We did it," Evan said, surprised at his own bravery. Zura nodded. "You have quick thinking, that will help us." Evan felt a spark of confidence. Maybe he could do this. The ship finally reached a peaceful place, a hidden space station on the edge of a distant star system. Zura guided the ship inside. Evan stepped out into a world unlike anything on Earth. The station was bright and full of strange beings from many planets. Machines hummed, and large screens showed maps of the galaxy. Zura led him to a quiet room filled with books and ancient artifacts. "Here you will learn about your history and prepare for what comes next." Evan walked around, touching the strange objects. He saw symbols that glowed softly and machines that seemed alive. "I never knew there was so much beyond Earth," he said quietly. Zura smiled. "There is much more than you can imagine. And now you are part of it." As night came to the station, Evan looked up at the stars through a large window. He thought about his grandparents back on Earth, wondering how they were doing. Zura joined him. "You will see them again, Evan. But for now, your journey begins here." Evan nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. He did not know what lay ahead, but one thing was clear. His life was changing forever. "Thank you," he said to Zura, "for finding me, for believing in me." Zura placed a strong hand on his shoulder. "We will face many challenges, but together, we will bring hope back to the stars." And with that, Evan looked out into the vast galaxy, ready to face whatever the future held. The hidden space station buzzed with activity, but Evan found it hard to settle. Every time he looked around, he saw faces, alien faces, that showed hope and fear all at once. They were counting on him. Yet Evan still felt unsure if he was ready. Commander Zura stood beside him. "You have done well so far," she said. "But the real test is ahead." Evan nodded. "I want to learn everything. I want to be ready." Zura led him to the training halls. There, Evan saw other Thalkari warriors practicing with strange weapons, blades that shimmered like light and armor that moved with the wearer. Evan's eyes widened. "I don't know if I can fight like that." Zura smiled. "You don't have to be a warrior. You have something they don't, your mind, your knowledge of science and your courage. That will save us all." Evan practiced daily. At first, he stumbled and fell many times, but with Zura's patient teaching, he grew stronger and faster. He learned how to use simple weapons, how to move quietly, and how to think quickly under pressure. One evening, while training, the alarm suddenly blared through the station. Red lights flashed everywhere. Zura's face grew serious. "We have company," she said. Evan followed her to the control room. Outside, on the station's sensors, he saw dozens of ships approaching fast. The Veiled Dominion was coming again. "Why won't they stop?" Evan asked, fear tightening his throat. "Because they know you are here," Zura said. "And they want to capture you before you unlock the Starborn relic." The station prepared for battle. Warriors grabbed weapons and moved to defensive positions. Evan felt the tension, but he also felt something new, determination. "Zura, what can I do?" he asked. "You will help protect the station," she said. "Use what you've learned. Stay close to me." The enemy ships fired bright beams of energy. The station's shields glowed as they absorbed the blasts. Explosions shook the walls. Evan's heart pounded. He moved carefully, following Zura through the corridors. They reached a weapons room where strange guns and energy shields waited. Zura handed Evan a small device. "This is a disruptor. It can disable enemy ships if used correctly." Evan held it tightly, trying to remember his training. Outside, the battle grew fiercer. Suddenly, a warning sounded. One enemy ship had slipped past the defenses and was heading toward the control room. Zura's eyes narrowed. "We have to stop it." They ran to intercept. Evan felt his legs move faster than he thought possible. In the corridor, the enemy ship's soldiers appeared, armed and ready. Zura stepped forward, her armor shining. "Stay behind me," she ordered. The soldiers charged. Zura fought fiercely, her movements swift and powerful. Evan stayed close, using the disruptor on the ship's energy core when he saw a chance. The enemy ship shuddered and lost power, crashing outside the station. The alarms finally stopped. The station's warriors cheered quietly. Zura looked at Evan with pride. "You did well. You saved many lives today." Evan smiled, feeling a new confidence. "I'm ready to do more." Zura nodded. "Good. Because the next step is dangerous. We must go to the Thalkari homeworld." Evan's eyes widened. "The homeworld? The place where it all started?" "Yes," Zura said. "There, you will find answers about your family and the Starborn relic, but the Veiled Dominion will not let us go easily." The next day, the ship prepared for the journey. Evan packed what little he needed, still unsure of what to expect. As they left the station's safe space and entered open space, Evan looked back. The station shrank into a tiny light. "Do you ever miss Earth?" Zura asked quietly. Evan nodded. "Every day." "Then hold on to that," she said. "It will give you strength." The trip was long. Evan spent his time studying the ship's maps and learning about the stars. He found comfort in the steady hum of the engines. One night, while looking at the stars through the ship's observation window, Evan spoke softly. "Zura, what was my mother like?" Zura paused. "She was brave and kind. She believed in peace and hope, even in the darkest times. She sent you away to keep that hope alive." Evan felt tears in his eyes. "I wish I could have known her." "You will in time," Zura said. "Her spirit lives in you." Suddenly, the ship jolted. Red lights flashed again. "Incoming message," Zura said, tapping a console. A distorted face appeared on the screen, a tall, dark figure with cold eyes. "This is Commander Var, leader of the Veiled Dominion," the figure said. "Give us the boy and we may spare your lives." Zura clenched her fists. "We will never surrender." Evan felt fear, but also anger. "We have to stop them." Zura nodded. "We will. But not just with weapons. We will use your mind, your courage, and the truth." As the ship moved closer to the Thalkari homeworld, Evan felt the weight of his destiny pressing on him. The path ahead was dangerous and uncertain, but he was not alone. With Zura by his side, and the hope of many worlds behind him, Evan was ready to face the darkness. The ship slowed as it approached the ruins of the ancient archive world. This was a place few visited anymore, a forgotten planet filled with the history of the galaxy's past. For Evan, it was the key to understanding who he really was. Commander Zura guided him through the ship's corridors, her expression serious but calm. "Here, you will find answers about your parents and the Starborn relic," she said. "But beware, the Veiled Dominion could be nearby." Evan nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He had spent weeks learning to fight and think like a leader, but now he faced a challenge he could not prepare for: his own history. The ship landed softly on the dusty surface of the archive world. Around them stretched the remains of ancient buildings, covered in vines and glowing symbols. The air was thin but still breathable. Zura led Evan into a great hall. Its walls were lined with glowing panels that flickered with images from long ago. As Evan touched one, a wave of light surrounded him. Suddenly, memories not his own filled his mind. He saw a young woman dressed in the same armor as Zura, fierce and beautiful with eyes full of hope. She was holding a tiny baby wrapped in soft cloth. The woman looked tired but determined. "This is your mother," Zura said softly. "She left this message for you, hidden in the archive. Her last gift." Evan's heart raced as the vision continued. He saw battles raging in the skies, ships exploding in bursts of light. He heard voices shouting orders, cries of pain, and songs of courage. Then a man appeared, tall, kind, and strong. He reached for the woman's hand, their faces filled with love. Your father, Zura whispered. Evan closed his eyes. For the first time, he understood where he came from, the love that had saved him, and the war that had torn his family apart. When the vision faded, Evan looked around. Why didn't I remember any of this? Your mind was protected, Zura explained. To keep you safe, your memories were hidden until you were ready. Evan touched his chest, feeling a deep connection to his past. Suddenly, alarms blared. Zura's eyes snapped open. We're not alone. Outside, the sky darkened as Vile Dominion ships appeared, circling like vultures. The enemy had found them. Zura grabbed Evan's arm. We must leave now. They ran back to the ship, but a group of Vile warriors blocked their path. Zura drew her blade, its edge glowing brightly. Stay close to me, she ordered. Evan's heart pounded as he followed her through the ruins. The Vile warriors attacked, but Zura fought with strength and skill. Evan used what he had learned, dodging and thinking quickly. Together they reached the ship. As the doors closed, Evan looked back at the ruined planet. The past was behind him now, but its echoes would guide him forward. The ship lifted off, just as enemy blasts hit the ground below. Where to now? Evan asked, breathing hard. To the Thalkari capital, Zura said. There, you will face the council and prove yourself. Evan nodded, feeling the weight of the journey ahead. The Thalkari capital planet was unlike anything Evan had ever seen. Vast cities rose from the ground like mountains of shining glass and metal. The skies were filled with flying vehicles that moved like schools of glowing fish. The air buzzed with energy, and everywhere Evan looked, there was life. Commander Zura guided him through the bustling streets, their mission clear but difficult. They had to reach the High Council, the leaders who ruled the Thalkari people. If Evan could convince them to trust him, he could help bring peace to the galaxy. But Evan was nervous. He was just a young man from Earth, suddenly standing in front of powerful leaders who had never seen a half-human before. The entrance to the council hall was grand. Tall columns made of crystal sparkled in the sunlight. Zura led Evan inside, where a semicircle of beings watched silently. Their faces showed years of wisdom and doubt. The chief counselor, an elder with silver hair and piercing eyes, spoke. First, you claim to carry the Starborn key. Why should we believe a human? Evan stepped forward, feeling every eye on him. He took a deep breath. I may be half human, but I carry the blood of the Thalkari in me. My mother was one of you. She sent me away to protect me. I want to bring peace to our people. A murmur passed through the room. Some council members looked skeptical, others curious. Evan continued. War has torn our worlds apart. I have seen what hatred and fear can do, but I have also seen courage and kindness, on Earth and among the stars. We need to unite, not fight. The elder counselor raised an eyebrow. Words are easy. What can you do to prove your worth? Evan swallowed. I don't have weapons like yours, but I have ideas. I believe in using reason and understanding to solve problems. If you give me a chance, I will work to bring peace. Zura stepped forward. He carries the strength of two worlds. He is the key to healing old wounds, the council whispered among themselves. After long moments, the chief counselor nodded slowly. Very well, we will hear your plan. But know this. If you fail, the consequences will be severe. Evan felt a weight lift from his shoulders. This was his chance. He spent days with the council, learning their history, their fears, and their hopes. He shared stories from Earth about how different people worked together despite differences. Slowly, some council members began to see the truth in his words. But not everyone agreed. One council member, a stern figure named Varkos, spoke harshly. This half-human brings danger. The Vile Dominion will use him as a weapon. We should exile him. Tension filled the hall. Evan looked at Varkos, then at the others. Exile will only make enemies stronger. We must face the Vile Dominion. Together. Suddenly, the chamber doors burst open. Soldiers loyal to Varko stormed in, shouting orders. A coup had begun. Zura drew her blade and stood beside Evan. "Stay close." Chaos erupted. Council members took sides. The soldiers tried to seize control, but many loyal to peace fought back. Evan realized this was the true test. Not just words, but courage. He spotted a group of soldiers aiming for the communication system, the only way to send a call for help to allies outside. Without thinking, Evan ran toward the control panel. Dodging attacks, he reached it and used his knowledge of technology to lock it down temporarily. "Hold on," he shouted to Zura. Together they fought through the chaos. Zura's strength and Evan's quick thinking kept them alive. Finally, the loyal council members regained control. The soldiers loyal to Varkos were arrested. The chief counselor sighed. "This is only the beginning. The vile dominion grows stronger, but your actions have shown courage." Evan nodded, exhausted, but determined. "I will not give up." Zura placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are more than we hoped." As calm returned, Evan looked around the chamber. The path to peace was still difficult, but now hope was shining. He was not just a boy from Earth anymore. He was a symbol, a bridge between worlds, ready to fight for a better future. The journey to the vault of the Starborn relic was filled with tension. Evan sat beside Commander Zura, his mind racing with questions. The relic was said to hold unimaginable power that could unite the galaxy or destroy it. They arrived at the mountain range where the vault was hidden. The entrance was carved into the rock, ancient symbols glowing faintly on the heavy doors. Zura turned to Evan. "This is it. Once inside, the relic will test your worth. You must unlock it, but be careful. The Veiled Dominion will not stop trying to take it." Evan swallowed hard but nodded. He felt ready, despite the fear growing inside him. They stepped into the dark tunnel. The air was cool and still. The walls shimmered with blue light, guiding their path. As they moved deeper, strange carvings told stories of the Starborn, heroes who protected the galaxy long ago. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the air. The vault's main chamber opened before them, revealing a glowing pedestal. On it rested the Starborn relic, a crystal orb that pulsed with energy. Evan approached slowly, feeling the power radiate from the relic. He reached out his hand. The moment his fingers touched the crystal, a voice spoke inside his mind. "Prove your heart is pure. Prove your will is strong." Evan closed his eyes and thought of Earth. His grandparents, his friends, the peaceful nights under the stars. He thought of his mother's courage, his father's kindness, and the hope that burned inside him. The crystal glowed brighter. Suddenly, alarms blared. The vault's doors shook as the Veiled Dominion attacked. Zura readied her blade. "They are here." Evan grabbed a small device from his belt, a disruptor he had learned to use. Together they prepared to defend the relic. The Veil warriors stormed into the chamber. Their leader, Commander Var, stepped forward, eyes cold and fierce. "Give us the relic, half-breed," he sneered. "Or die." Zura stepped between Var and Evan. "You will not have it." A fierce battle began. Zura fought with skill and power, her blade flashing like lightning. Evan stayed close, using the disruptor to disable enemy weapons and shields. But the Veil were many, and the fight was hard. Evan's heart pounded. He remembered Zura's words, to use his mind as much as his strength. He looked around and saw ancient devices in the chamber. He rushed to a control panel and pressed buttons, activating traps hidden in the vault. Beams of light, energy nets, and sonic waves slowed the attackers. Var snarled in frustration. "Stop him!" The battle raged on. At one moment, Var lunged at Evan. The disruptor was out of power. Evan dodged quickly, knocking over a pillar that fell between them. Zura fought Var, blocking his strikes and pushing him back. Evan caught his breath and reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small crystal, a piece of the relic's energy he had secretly taken earlier. He held it up and it began to glow, sending waves of calm energy through the room. The Vael warriors hesitated, their anger fading for a moment. Seizing the chance, Evan touched the relic again. The crystal orb responded, shining brighter and sending a pulse through the chamber. Bar screamed as the light overwhelmed him and his soldiers. One by one, they fell, weakened but alive. The chamber grew quiet. Zura looked at Evan, amazed. You did it. You used the relic's power, and not to destroy but to heal. Evan smiled, feeling a new strength inside him. The relic's light filled the room, spreading beyond the vault. Outside, the galaxy began to change. The Vael Dominion's hold weakened. Planets once ruled by fear started to open their doors to peace talks. The Starborn relic had sent a message of hope and unity, a new beginning. Evan looked at Zura. This is just the start. She nodded. The galaxy still needs leaders like you. Together, we will build a better future. As they left the vault, Evan felt a deep connection to the stars and to the people he was meant to protect. The last stand was won, but the real journey, the journey of peace, had only just begun. 1 month after the battle at the vault, the galaxy was beginning to heal. The Starborn relic's pulse had reached far and wide, inspiring hope across countless worlds. Old enemies spoke quietly of peace, and many leaders opened their hearts to new possibilities. Evan stood on the bridge of the ship, gazing out at the stars. The vastness of space was both beautiful and humbling. He felt a calm strength growing. Inside him, a quiet confidence born from all he had learned and faced. Beside him, Commander Zura watched the stars as well. You have come far, Evan. The galaxy will remember this day. Evan smiled. It feels like the beginning of something new, but also like there is still much to do. Zura nodded. Peace is a journey, not a destination. But you are the bridge between worlds now. The ambassador of hope. Evan thought of Earth, his home, his grandparents, the quiet nights under the sky. Soon he would return there, not as a lost boy, but as a leader carrying the future of two peoples. The ship's communication panel beeped softly. A message appeared, an invitation from the Galactic Assembly, the gathering of all known civilizations. You're needed, Zura said, to speak, to share what you have learned. Evan took a deep breath. Then it's time. The ship sailed through space, heading toward the Assembly's massive station. When they arrived, beings of every shape and size crowded the grand hall. Evan felt the weight of their eyes, but also their hope. When his turn came, Evan stepped forward. His voice was steady and clear. I stand before you as someone from Earth and Thalkara, he began. I have seen what fear and division can do, but I have also seen courage and unity. Together we can build a future where all our peoples live in peace. Murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd. Leaders nodded, some wiping away tears. Evan spoke of the Starborn relic, of his mother and father, and the hope that had guided him. He spoke not as a warrior, but as a messenger of understanding. When he finished, the assembly rose in applause. For the first time in many cycles, the galaxy felt united. Later, as the crowd dispersed, Zura and Evan walked outside to the ship. The twin suns of the assembly station set in brilliant colors. Your work has only begun, Zura said. Evan smiled. I'm ready. They began their journey back to Earth. When they finally arrived, Evan stepped out under the familiar sky. The stars shone bright, just as they always had, but now Evan saw them differently, as beacons of hope and connection. His grandparents waited for him, tears of joy in their eyes. They hugged him tightly. You've grown into someone amazing, his grandmother whispered. Evan looked up at the night sky. I'm home, he said softly. But he also knew his journey was far from over. He was a bridge between two worlds, human and Thalkari. He carried the future of peace, hope, and unity, and under the endless stars, a new, Dawn had begun.